West of the Rockies, you're on the air. Hello.
Hi, Art.
Hello.
I'm trying to contact some time travelers.
Why?
Their drop zones for their messages
Yes.
are now all covered in ice. We've got to find a new drop zone.
What are you talking about?
I'm from 2067.
You are a time traveler?
Yes.
From 2067.
Okay.
So what are you doing on my phone line?
I'm trying to contact the other time travelers that have done something.
Your friends?
Well, actually, no.
No?
They left in 2057.
Yes.
And they did something.
Well, what were they trying to do?
Sort of adjust history.
Adjust history, yes.
They were supposed to make minor adjustments.
Yep.
They've done something.
Something wrong?
Yeah, evidently.
What's happened between 2057 and 67?
Well, well, give you an idea. The North Pole is now roughly where Ohio is.
Oh, they really screwed up, didn't they?
And everything's covered with miles of ice.
Mm-hmm.
So the ocean level is dropped down to nothing.
Nothing.
And
to where all kinds of fish are just jumping up out of the shallow ocean water.
Well, it's about 100 foot below the continental shelf.
Oh my! Well, that's
quite deep. And the drop zones where they're supposed to leave messages.
Yeah, all covered in snow.
We're mainly in the major caverns where we knew they'd last a long time.
Well, you do have a problem, don't you?
But now the major caverns are all under ice. And we're trying to get them to make the drop zones out on the continental shelf where we can get the information, figure out what they did wrong.
So you're coming on my radio show in order that they receive the message and change the drop zone.
Drop zones, right, to the continental shelf, so that we can pick them up and figure out what they did wrong and readjust it.
All right. Well, I guess it's a good deal for all of us if the message gets out, and this would be the place they'd hear it. So I appreciate your call.
Sure.
Good luck to all of us.
My husband was watching my friend and I play the Ouija board, and he decided to blindfold us.
Oh, the interesting move. Yeah, okay.
You know, because we were working it. We were really working it.
I understand.
And we're blindfolded, and suddenly the little planchette, that's what you call the little triangle thing you put your fingers on, flew out. And I pulled the blindfold out, and I said, "What'd you do, Bruce? You know, knock the thing?" He said, "No, I held the crucifix over it." Do you remember that story now?
I do, yes.
Yeah.
And, yes. And, you know, it's so serious.
It's very serious.
And people don't understand, and they think, oh, gee, let's have some fun. Let's play with a Ouija board. And I used to feel the same way.
I know, because I listen to your show, like I say, every night. I was really concerned about you. That's why I wrote you the note. I was really concerned. And,
well, with good reason.
Yes, because I knew. But now you know, so.
You're correct. Now I know. Thank you.
Okay, Art.
Right. Take care. There are a few things that I won't talk about. That really is one of them. And I really I'm giving you good advice here when I tell you don't play with Ouija boards. They're not toys. East of the Rockies, you're on there.
Hi, Art.
Hello.
Jeff from Texas. I was listening to you about the craft that you and Mona saw. And
the triangular craft, yes.
It's funny, at the time I was reading Philip Corso's book, The Day After Roswell.
Yes.
And and then taking that, and then one time I think Major Ed Dames was talking about the military technology. And I wonder if what happened at Area 51 or happened at Roswell really happened, if our government has some craft constructed that based on engineering principles of something they recovered.
At Roswell.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
And I never read Corso's book, but he seems to be a very credible person. I know he's dead now. But,
he was a very credible person. Yes, I had 3 rather extended opportunities to interview him.
Yes,
and he came across as completely genuine.
Well, that's all I wanted to say, Art, and enjoy listening to you.
Okay, thank you very much for the call, and take care. A very genuine person. Of all the interviews that I've done through the years, I thought Colonel Corso was one of the best. And, of course, he claims that he was given materials from the crash at Roswell and slowly integrated them into American industry, so that some of the things we perhaps take for granted today, some of the technology, did come from elsewhere and was sort of integrated into American industry. Dear Art, my husband said that I should tell you about a conversation I had this afternoon. I was talking to a gentleman in the Army National Guard about ChemTrails and the spraying of toxins over America, and to my surprise, he confirmed it. I asked him about the fact that there was a number of different toxins being used and their effects on people living in the areas that are being sprayed. His eyes got really big, and he smiled, nodding agreement. Then I asked him about the men flying the planes that are doing the spraying, and he said that a lot of them don't know what spray they are releasing. I've had sinus problems, fatigue, and other things. And so I'm going to put this aside, and maybe when a day comes when, next couple of days, when she can stay up, we'll have her on the air confirming that. And now, with everything, as with everything, William Thomas came on last night and presented his case, as well as the findings of the stuff he's had analyzed and those people who have submitted to examinations and what they found there. But this story is presented to you as I present all stories to you, for you to judge, for you to make up your own mind as an adult. There is always, with my program, that caveat. We deal with things that are out on the edge. That's what the show is all about. We deal with things that are on the edge. And the caveat always is, judge for yourself. Don't automatically accept anything you hear from my guests or even me as factual information. I am not a reporter. I am not myself an investigative reporter. And so what you hear here may be true as the day is long, or it may be baloney. I have no way of knowing. I judge as you judge. I listen to people like William Thomas, and I think that William is sincere, and I think he's on to something, but that doesn't mean it's so. But if you look at the response, it certainly seems so. Well, I know I'm stepping on a lot of toes here. And you know what? I enjoyed Elvis Presley. There are several songs he did that I really like. But they are turning this man into a god. He's almost becoming a religion. Elvis is a bigger star today than he ever was. He died at the age of 42 from a heart attack, apparently brought on by years of drug abuse. And he's nearly being turned into a god now. And I sort of wonder what kind of message that sends. The man was a genius with music. He literally was really responsible for bringing black music to white America, to the world. The mixture that he came up with was unique. There's no question it was a revolution in music, and he was great. But he's not a god. And what I see going on in the media is sort of making him a god, and I'm not comfortable with that. I'm just not comfortable with it. I have no negative feelings against Elvis Presley, never have. And as I said, there are several records that he did I really like. But I don't understand this mania.
I believe quite possibly Mels Hole could be connected with those cities that they found that have been underwater for about 1,150 years.
Or much longer,
11,500.
11,500, yes.
Right, for that possible early civilization. As far as you were talking, as their technology, and this is something like you, I'm a skeptic. I don't take anything 100%, but I sure like to look at the possibilities.
So do I.
And if they did indeed have a technology like that, something like Mel's Hole, whatever it is,
might be connected.
Would be a technology
that we don't understand, that to us would appear magic.
Right. I mean, if the properties he described as far as the burning ice and the most imagination staggering thing of the small creature coming out of the sheep.
Yeah.
I'd probably say 6 months ago there is no way I could believe it, but through, I don't know, like I said, I'm a self-enlightened guy. I meditate every single night, just trying to discover the secrets of life and the universe, as it were.
Well, one thing that I've sort of come to understand, or maybe believe, is that the inner part of the Earth is something we really don't know about. We really, really, really don't know about it. We think we know. We do models and computer models and that sort of thing, but we really don't know what's down there.
Now, wasn't the second hole in northern Nevada?
Yes, that's right.
And isn't that where Bush wants to start dumping nuclear waste here?
No, that's just further north than that.
Is it a little further north? Good.
Yeah.
I'm worried about that. I think that the government would probably know what those are because of their...
Hey, you might have just hit on something. I wonder if the government wanted Mels Hole in the first place because it represented a possibility for dumping nuke waste.
That is a possibility, but I haven't heard of them. I think that they would have known what it was before, and I would think that they possibly have other ones under their control already.
With our luck,
or else
sir,
they wouldn't have moved on that one so fast.
It could be. With our luck, I'll tell you something. We'd start dumping nuclear waste down something like Mels Hole, and the whole hollow Earth theory would turn out to be true, and there'd be some civilization down there. And when it began to rain radioactive pellets on them, boy, would they be pissed. Probably declare war on us. We'd become part of the axis of evil. The truth is, though, that we don't know a lot about the inner Earth. We think we know. And geologists would say, oh, yes, well, we know exactly what's down there. No, we don't.
Well, the reason I called it is because my mom is a psychic vampire.
Your mother?
Yeah.
Your own mother?
Yeah.
And she's attacked you?
No. Well, it's I guess I'm a victim, but every time anybody inside and outside of the family spends time at my parents' house, she exhausts them.
What?
I mean, she just pulls the energy out of you. My wife has planned on wearing like a tinfoil vest.
Really? When she's around her mother-in-law?
Yeah. Yeah, my brother-in-law, whenever he goes over to the house, he just basically just is drained and falls asleep.
So your wife thinks of your mom as a vampire?
Oh, yeah.
Does that bother you, or?
No. In fact,
really?
I kind of stay away from her because of
your
the
own mom
thing.
Yeah.
And we can't figure out how my dad has stayed immune to it, but somehow he has. And I mean, it made it difficult growing up.
Maybe they cut a deal.
Well, I've kind of pondered that.
Something like you can have the kids, but honey, leave me alone.
I've wondered about that myself. And I've got one other question for you, and that is, from time to time, when you have the time traveler on, time traveler line, you've often wondered about a time traveler appearing in a location where a building or a structure has been placed.
Correct. In other words, you wouldn't want to turn up inside a cement wall or something.
Right.
Of course.
Now, I was wondering if that might have anything to do with most UFO sightings being in rural areas, kind of areas that time travelers may be aware of the fact that there's no population centers.
Well, it's absolutely possible. I mean, it's as good a guess as anybody else's, my friend. Listen, I've got a scoot.
Yeah, hi. Calling from KRRM, Cream of Country, 94.7.
Where is that?
Grants Pass, Oregon.
Grants Pass, yes, sir.
Yeah, I'm a Bigfoot field researcher with the Southern Oregon Bigfoot Society.
Oh, you are?
Yes, and I had emailed you a while back, but apparently it fell through the cracks. But this research area that we've been working in, we found several families of Bigfoot in this area.
You have?
As a matter of fact, we'd been baiting them for the last year.
What do you mean baiting?
With different foods like fruits and vegetables. And
what do they seem to like?
Well, they like canned meats, like corned beef, and also...
with the can not open, right?
No, we open the cans.
Open the cans.
3/4 of the way.
All right.
We have had them peel bananas, and they eat the bananas and leave the peelings on the ground. I've got hand cast, lots of foot cast. Our organization's been going for about a year.
Wait. How can you know? I mean, if you come back to where you put bananas and you find peels, how can you know it was Bigfoot? That you say you have casts?
Yes, we have 2 hand casts that we've got this year. Also, we have several different foot casts, and all this is available on our website.
Well, I can't let you give it. I have a rule about that because one time somebody gave out a porn site.
No.
If you will email it to me, I will screen it and we'll get it up. Now, how big are the handprints and the footprints?
Well, see, the handprint, we actually what we'd been doing is raking the area in a circle.
Right.
And they try to stay away from the raked area. And one actually reached over, put its hand down next to the edge of the raked area, and we were able to get that impression.
Right, got that. How big a hand is it compared to it?
Twice the size of a normal human hand.
Twice the size.
Also, the foot casts we have 15-inch long casts all the way up to 21 inches.
To 21 inches?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, my God, that's a big foot.
We've also had some screams in the area.
God, that's a gigantic foot.
They're very big animals. We had a sighting on August 20th up here in the Southern Oregon area.
How close?
During one of our expeditions. It was about 50 feet. Myself as well as another individual that was in our party.
Do you have pictures?
No. They're very...
As a Bigfoot researcher, how could you not have a camera with you?
Well, this is 11:30 at night.
Yeah.
We all spread out and we blast sounds out in the canyons. And
trying to drive Bigfoot one way and the other?
Well, try to bring him to us. We've smelled all the smells, and the evidence that we've collected is unreal. Most research teams, 10 or 20 years to get the evidence that we've gotten in 1 year.
Well, all right, pretty impressive. What are you going to you email me, and maybe I'll have you on as a guest.
Okay.
How's that? Now, just out of curiosity, if you come right up against Bigfoot, I mean, meet Bigfoot face to face, or whatever it is a Bigfoot has, what will you do?
Well, we don't want to hurt the animal because that would be detrimental to their species, especially since we don't have enough evidence to know how many of them that we've had, that are in this area.
Right.
We did have a Forest Service ranger had seen a female up on the tower that he works at right in this area.
Really?
And there's multiple sightings in this area. There are some homes about 10 miles down below. They're very shy humans. I believe that they can smell like gunpowder for guns and items like that.
All right. In the subject header of the email that you send me, because I get a lot of emails, sir, put something like Bigfoot researcher or something like that.
I'll put Southern Oregon Bigfoot Society.
Good. That's fine. All right?
All right. Thank you.
Thank you, and I'll look forward to seeing that. A size 21 foot. A size 21 foot. Now, you think about what's going to be attached to that, and I don't know that you want a face to whatever meeting. You just might not. West of the Rockies, you're on the air. Hello.
Art, this is Thomas in Mesa, Arizona, 550 KFYI.
Hello.
Well, I've been trying to monitor your program for the Mel Waters' Marvelous Magical Mystery Holes.
Yes.
Interesting topic. And I wonder if they haven't had a formal volunteer, I'd like to volunteer myself instead of the poor cat to be lowered down the hole.
Oh, the cat down the hole.
No, don't pick on the poor cat because we always have the advantage of putting poor Kitty in a carrier, right?
Why, sir, would you volunteer to be lowered into an apparently endless hole with weird properties? Now, come on.
What more noble a donation I can make for my life than to advance the cause of knowledge of my species?
Well, what if you just don't ever come back?
Then I'll be in the history books.
And that's
I'll be one of your missing entities,
and
maybe a shadow person myself.
That would be satisfying enough for you. In other words, how old are you now?
I'm 38.
38. Not even to your prime yet.
Well.
And you would be willing to disappear down a hole so that you could have a legacy as someone who disappeared down a hole.
It would certainly be an adventure now, wouldn't it? Like Alice in Wonderland.
Maybe. All right, sir. You're crazy, but I appreciate your call.
Of course I am.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Why would anybody volunteer to do that? I mean, really. He can't be serious. East of the Rockies, you are on the air. Hello.
Hi, Art.
Hello.
Hey, I'm in Fort Myers, Florida. I've called you before, but I'm a security officer down here.
Yes.
And we have a vanishing vagrant in the area. It's strange.
A vanishing vagrant?
Yeah, I would call the police and report that there was a vagrant on the street, but the guy would just disappear. Well, the police couldn't find him. They've searched. And I was writing it in my log night after night, the same guy, same clothes, an elderly-looking man. He just appears out of nowhere, and then he's gone.
Well, I would be very careful about calling the police on anybody with the ability to disappear.
Yeah, well, this guy, though, finally a resident was out here, and he witnessed it, too. He couldn't believe it. You know, I mean, so anyway, I'm going to try to get this guy if he ever comes around again. And let him call you, because I asked him in front of the resident, you know, as a witness. I said, you know, where do you go? How do you disappear like that?
And what did he say?
He told me he doesn't disappear; he vanishes. So now I call him the vanishing vagrant.
He claims he vanishes.
He does. I mean, even the witness family witnessed it.
Wait. Have you actually, with your eyes on him, on his physical being, seen him?
Yes, and the night that the one resident...
You've actually seen him vanish?
Yes, and he did too, and he couldn't believe it.
So now you've got another witness backing up your story.
Yes, thank God, because I've been logging about this guy for like a month.
All right, if he can...
bothering the police.
All right, if he can vanish, then I want to talk to him, so you get him to me,
I know.
All right, all right. You get him to me, dear. I've got to go. What's first name? Lance. All right, Lance, let's hear it.
In 1965, I was working on the Key Biscayne Island down off the coast of Florida.
And
I was driving back and forth through Rickenbacker Causeway each day. And I worked the second shift, so I got off late one night, and I drove home, and I saw a car parked on the beach with a hose from its exhaust into the car. I saw two men.
You mean like somebody committing suicide?
Yes. I saw two guys standing by the car, well over 8 feet tall, probably 450 pounds each.
Big guys.
Yeah. Big as dressed in black, biggest guys I ever saw in my life. I was in a '57 Chevrolet doing about 70 miles an hour down the causeway, and
well, wait a minute now. Did you stop?
No, I did not stop.
You didn't stop?
No.
You're doing 70 miles an hour?
Yeah.
All right.
I'll tell you in a minute, because I saw this, and telepathically, one guy said to the second guy, "Do you think he saw us?" The second one said, "No, I don't think so." The first one said, "Good, it saved his life." Now, you understand, I couldn't hear him doing 70 miles an hour, but I heard him say it, believe me. Well, I went back home. I was living on the mainland. Next morning, I went and bought a newspaper trying to find out what had happened. The names are kind of sketchy. One of them was named Dr. Valentine, and one was named Dr. Jessup, I think. And the article said that Dr. Jessup was taking a manuscript that involved the Philadelphia Project out Rickenback Causeway to Key Biscayne Island to give him the book, but he never made it.
So,
but these two guys were the last two living doctors that had been involved in. And for 4 days, I walked around in 1959, and it was one of the scariest.
And what was the real date?
The real date was I was living in 1965. This was 6 years earlier. And the newspaper, I went and bought the newspaper, and even the buildings weren't even there yet. So.
Good
it was like
heavens.
I was locked out of time or locked in another time or something.
So Lance traveled from 1965 to 1959 and spent 4 days there?
Right, to witness this murder.
To witness the murder?
Yeah.
Holy
mackerel. It wasn't
mackerel.
a suicide. These two guys were involved in this time machines and stuff.
All right, Lance. By the way, Lance, there's two important questions.
Yeah.
Were you doing drugs?
Absolutely not.
How about booze?
Nothing. I don't drink.
No booze, no. All right. Just had to ask, Lance. Had to ask. All right. West of the Rockies, Lance's travel through time story. Truth or trash? Hello there.
Hello.
Yes, sir. You're on the air. Where are you?
Phoenix.
Phoenix. All right. Well, you're off the air now. Wildcard line. You're on the air. Where are you calling from?
Well, I'm calling from Seattle.
All right. And what do you think of Lance's time travel story? Murder, actually.
Well, it's absolutely trash.
Absolutely trash, huh? You don't believe in time travel?
No, I called to tell you my story, but
well, you
no,
can't call. No, you can't call on this line, sir. There's only one line to call to tell a story, and that's area code 702-727-1222. East of the Rockies, what do you think of Lance's four-day foray into 1959?
I think he's on drugs now, and it's completely trash.
All right, let's find out. Just Lance, are you on drugs now?
Absolutely not.
All right, well, that sounds like a very convincing absolutely not. West of the Rockies, Lance's time travel story, truth or trash?
I'm going to have to say it's trash.
Trash. All right, Lance, they have uniformly trashed your story.
Every word the truth, I swear to God.
That's a strong swear. You really swear it's true, huh?
Art, that happened.
All right. Well, Lance, we're going to have to take your word for it, and the panel goes down in flames again. Thank you, Lance, and take care, my friend. Well, I don't know if I buy that one myself, but you've got to admit that his denials of any sort of use of controlled substances or otherwise were strong and clear. Entitled Lizard Birthing. If you have raised kids, or ever been one, and gone through the pet syndrome, including, of course, toilet flush burials for dead goldfish, the story below is going to have you laughing and possibly on the floor. Overview. I had to take my son's lizard to the vet. Here's what happened. Just after dinner one night, my son came to tell me that there was something wrong with one of the two lizards that he holds prisoner in his room. He's just lying there and looking sick, he told me. I'm serious, Dad. Can you help? Well, I put on my best lizard healer statement on my face, followed him into his bedroom. One of the little lizards was indeed lying on his back, looking stressed. I immediately knew what to do. Honey, I called, come look at the lizard. Oh, my gosh, my wife diagnosed after just a moment. She's having babies. What? My son demanded. Their names are Bert and Ernie, Mom. I was equally outraged. Hey, how can that be? I thought we said we didn't want them to reproduce, I accused my wife. Well, what do you want me to do? Post a sign on their cage? She inquired. I actually think she said this rather sarcastically. No, but you were supposed to get two boys, I reminded her in my most loving, calm, sweet voice while getting my teeth together and gritting. Yeah, Bert and Ernie, my son agreed. Well, it's just a little hard to tell on some guys, you know, she informed me, again with the sarcasm, you think? By now, the rest of the family had gathered to see what was going on. I shrugged, deciding to make the best of it. Kids, this is going to be a wondrous experience, I announced. We're about to witness the miracle of birth. Oh, gross, they shrieked. Well, isn't that just great? What are we going to do with a litter of tiny little lizard babies? My wife wanted to know. I really do think she was being snotty here, don't you? We peered at the patient. After much struggling, what looked like a tiny foot would briefly appear, vanishing a scant second later. I noted we don't appear to be making much progress. It's breech, my wife whispered, horrified. Do something, Dad, my son urged. Okay. Squeamishly, I reached in and grabbed the foot when it next appeared. Giving it a gentle tug, it disappeared. I tried several more times with the same result. Should I call 911? My eldest daughter wanted to know. Maybe they could talk us through the trauma. You see a pattern here with the females in my house? Let's get Ernie to the vet, I said grimly. We drove to the vet with my son holding the cage in his lap. Breathe, Ernie, breathe, he urged. I don't think lizards do Lamaze, his mother noted to him. Women can be so cruel to their young. I mean, what she does to me is one thing, but this boy is of her womb, for God's sakes. The vet took Ernie back to the examining room, peered at the little animal through a magnifying glass. What do you think, Doc? A C-section, I suggested scientifically. Oh, very interesting, he murmured. Mr. and Mrs. Cameron, may I speak to you privately for a moment? I gulped, nodding for my son to step outside for just a moment, son. Is Ernie going to be okay, my wife asked. Oh, perfectly, the vet assured us. This lizard is not in labor. In fact, that isn't ever going to happen. You see, Ernie is a boy. Ernie is a young male, you see, and occasionally, as they come into maturity, like most male species, they masturbate, just the way he did. Lying on his back, he blushed, glancing at my wife. Well, you know what I'm saying, Mrs. Cameron. We were silent, absorbing all of this. So Ernie's just excited, my wife offered. Exactly, the vet replied, relieved that we understood. More silence. Then my vicious, cruel wife started to giggle, then laugh loudly. What's so damn funny, I demanded, knowing but not believing that the woman I married would commit the upcoming affront to my flawless manliness. Tears now running down her face, laughing is just... Actually, the finish up the lizard story, mercifully cut off by that commercial break, with the wife simply laughing hysterically. The husband announced, "That's enough. That's enough." We thanked the vet and hurriedly bundled the lizards and our son back into the car. And he was glad that everything was going to be okay. He said, "I know Ernie's really thankful for what you've done, Dad," he told me. Oh, you have no idea, at which point the wife once again collapsed with laughter. Moral of the story, 2 lizards, $140. 1 cage, $50. Trip to the vet, $30. Memory of your husband pulling on a lizard's winky, priceless. Moral of the story, finish biology class. Lizards lay eggs. On my Truth or Trash line, you are on the air. What is your first name, please? Oh, wait a minute. I've got you on the wrong place here. Hold on. Now you're on the air. What is your first name, please?
Vinny.
Vinny?
Yeah.
Where are you, Vinny?
I'm calling from Burlington, Vermont.
Burlington, Vermont.
Yep.
All right, Vinny, you're going to have to get good and close to the phone and speak up so everybody can hear you. Let's have it.
All right. I used to drive a taxi cab for a company here in Burlington, and one of the drivers found a duffel bag full of $100 bills, and he turned it into the company owner.
Really?
He did.
Well, right there, a lot of people are going to have a whole duffel bag full of hundreds. Oh, man.
$100 bills.
Yeah.
And he turned it over to the company owner, who said that he was going to wait and see if the money was claimed, and apparently the money was never claimed. And he gave a portion of the money to this guy and kept the rest, and now he seems to be buying up a lot of the other companies, like a limo company and other airport taxi services.
Wait a minute now. The taxi driver turned it over to his boss. The boss waited for somebody to claim it.
Uh-huh.
Nobody did. And then he kept a lot of the money?
Excuse me?
Then he kept a lot of the money?
Yeah.
What did the taxi driver have to say about this?
He was just happy to receive a little bit of the reward.
Reward?
For being a good citizen. He's one of these Joe Citizen kind of people. I don't know what the hell was wrong with him.
All right. Well, actually, this is a very, very good truth or trash story, Vinny. Hold on just a second. We'll find out what the audience thinks. Now, I don't want to color anybody's response out there, but how many of you buy what you just heard? East of the Rockies, you're on the air. Vinny's money story, truth or trash?
Well, Art, trash.
Trash, huh?
Let me ask your caller there.
All right.
This is such a stupid story. Did the $100 bills have Howard Stern on them or something?
No, I take it they were real hundreds, right, sir? Vinny?
Excuse me?
They were real hundreds, right?
Yes.
Real $100 bills.
Yes, they were.
That's what I thought. All right. West of the Rockies, you're on the air. Vinny's story, truth or trash?
Truth.
Truth?
Yeah.
You think truth? Why? Why would you think? Well, what convinced you?
Well, I don't know. It just sounds truthful to me.
All right. And honest, too, I would say.
Yeah.
Except at least on the part of the driver. All right. Thank you. Wildcard line, you're on the air. Where are you calling from, please?
Calling from Palm Springs, Art.
Palm Springs. Truth or trash? Vinny's big money story.
I think it's true, Art, because I had something similar happen one time where I gave back a lot of money like that, and
really
got a good feeling off of it. So I can believe that somebody else might do the same thing.
All right, all right. Well, I'll tell you. Oh, I better not say anything. East of the Rockies, you're on the air. Hello.
Nate Hansen, and it's trash.
Trash, huh?
Yeah.
All right, that's 2 for trash and 2 for truth. That means the next one decides it. West of the Rockies, you're on the air. Vinny's story, truth or trash?
Yes, Art, I would have to say I think it's trash.
Trash, huh?
Yeah, the story just seemed too generic, and I don't know. It didn't seem like it. I don't know. It just seemed too simple to be truth.
Sometimes, of course, the simplest things are true.
Where could be.
Yeah. All right. All right. Thank you very much. All right. Well, they have trashed your story, Vinny.
Well, I'm sorry. The thing that bothers me the most is that it's true, and I wish he would have turned that money over to me. I don't know if I could have been so honest.
The part I don't understand is the taxi driver went away happy. This is what blew me away. I'd have trashed it, Vinny, because the taxi driver went away happy that he got a reward for turning money over to somebody whose money it wasn't in the first place.
Exactly. No, it's true. It still bothers me, but it's true.
How much money was in it? Do you have any idea?
I would say it was like a kind of bag you'd bring to a gym.
Yeah.
Maybe I don't know, maybe $1 million or $2 million.
Oh my
Unbelievable.
God. Unbelievable is right.
Believe it.
All right, Vinny. Thank you. You have fooled the panel.
About 8 years ago, I was down around San Antonio, Texas, and they had this big thing that they were trying to get funding through the government for some kind of a super accelerator.
Right.
Did you know anything about that?
Oh, yes, of course, yes.
Do you think they were trying to do some type of time travel with that?
Well, I think that they certainly were doing work that could have led toward an understanding of whether or not we can travel in time. Yes. However, that was all canceled, as you know.
Yeah, that's what I heard. They couldn't raise the funding for it. It seemed they had some pretty good ideas there.
No question about it. But they stopped it cold, and there's the super accelerator shall not be.
Yeah, it makes you wonder though if they're still trying to continue with it, maybe with private funding. I still have a lot of friends and relatives down there in Texas, and they say there's still just a lot of buzz going around down there around the Air Force base, and that would probably be a really good way to try to travel in time.
Well, it would at least lead, thank you very much, to some continued research that would eventually answer the question about time. And I say again, before you put down these people like the fellow who called a little while ago about the drop zones, you've got to understand that if you consider time travel now to be likely someday when enough power or understanding or computer power, whatever it's going to take, is attained, then there are time travelers. And if there are time travelers, then do not be surprised at things occasionally getting modified in our past. Of course, you're not going to be surprised because you're not even going to know it.